there's a very strong connection between the gestures we make with our hands, our body, the vocabulary we use, and our mind state. So today we'll talk about gestures that have reverential effect on the mind. Gestures like folding of the hands, saying namaskar or namaste or sat sri akal. Gestures that look upwards like this, or gestures where you close your eyes. These are reverential gestures where you bow down, put your head on the floor, you bow down to the universe. Such gestures have very profound effect on our mind state, and they are very important gestures and important tools in our lives. Unfortunately, more and more such gestures are being taken out of public life, partly because people often associate these gestures with places of worship, and fewer people enter places of worship. The effect of science and technology has lessened the effect of places of worship, and especially in developed countries, there are fewer people entering spaces where they can worship. If you enter a space like a temple or a mosque or a church, you have a sense of reverence that is emanating from that space, and the way people use their hands, their gestures, bring that sense of reverence. So that tool of reverence, bringing reverence into our lives, is slowly being lost, and it's very important to bring it in your life. Even if it's not in a place of worship, you can bring those tools in a place of natural beauty, in a park, in a forest, on an ocean, where you're bringing the same reverence tools, gestures that one uses in places of worship, without having to associate them always with places of worship. So the benefit of these tools, which is the gestures that involve closing your eyes, folding your hands, reaching up to the sky, all of these kind of gestures, there are many benefits, and one can identify at least 4 important outcomes of such gestures on our mind. The first is it brings a sense of universality in our lives. We are infinitesimal compared to the universe, and a gesture of reverence allows us to come from infinitesimal to infinite, and we'll feel a connection to the entire universe. The second important outcome of such tools is it allows us to accept what we cannot control. And even in the age of science and technology, most of the important things in life we cannot control. We cannot control love, we cannot control losses, we cannot control emotional trauma, natural trauma, we cannot obviously control death. So some things we still have to accept, and gestures of reverence allow us this acceptance. The third aspect is we are able to release mental stress from our lives. So by looking inwards, it allows us to look from outside to inside. If we close our eyes, fold our hands, meditate, that movement, that gesture allows us to look inwards and connect to ourselves and recognize our true value. Because very often our value is set by outside world, and it's important for us to set our own value by looking inwards, realizing how important and valuable we are. And lastly, the reverential gesture, something done with reverence, makes even a mundane thing a profound thing. So even if one is sweeping the floor, ironing, washing clothes, washing dishes, if it's done with a sense of reverence, it makes it profound, and it almost becomes like a worship. So even simple tasks, mundane tasks, even simple things like having a glass of water, having a piece of bread, can become profound and delicious. The experience can be delicious, and you can savor that through reverence. So reverence is an important tool, and one should not abandon reverence simply because one may not be going to a place of worship, because you can bring such reverence in a place of nature. You go walk in a starry night, see the moon, see the sun rising, sun setting, beautiful ocean, and you can, for a moment, close your eyes, bring some reverence into your life.